Okay, give me your name.
My name is Scotty Hayes.
And you're from where, Scotty?
I'm from Reelfoot Lake, Tennessee, Soundburg.
And what do you do?
I own a campground resort, Hayes Lakefront. I manage the water utility district for this area.
And what about your collecting? What do you collect and why?
I collect antique wooden duck calls. I cater to the Sharpie Shaw duck call, the Cochran family duck calls, Johnny Marsh. I love Turpin calls.
Tell me the history of one of the calls that you've got and why you got it and how you got it.
I have approximately 15 Sharpie Shaw duck calls. He was born in 1900. He grew up on the lake. His son grew up with my dad, and I am good friends with him. And a few years back, I started collecting Sharpie Shaws, which is very rare. There's probably about 120 of them in existence, and I've accumulated about 15 now. I have his personal hunting license. I have his shell box. His son is a very close friend of mine. I love searching for him. I enjoy it. It's a treasure hunt.
What would that collection of Sharpie Shaws be worth?
I would estimate in the neighborhood of $2,500 per call.
$2,500 per call?
Yes, sir.
And tell me about another one that you like to collect and why.
I collect Cochran calls. There's 4 generations that still make duck calls in this area. I've recently purchased a Sundown Cochran, which is a very, very desirable call for collectors. I was fortunate to get one. There was probably 24 of them made when they were, and I was lucky enough to add one to my collection.
What gives these calls value, and why will people pay big bucks for old duck calls?
They're more of a one of a kind. There will never be any more made in that style. The history, the call, if you can track it, the family, the owners of it, it makes it even more worthwhile to keep.
Were the people that made them pretty good duck hunters? Have a reputation?
They had a great reputation. They were probably some of the finest hunters there were. They were great shots. They were tough. They had a hard life. They worked hard. They made their living on that lake, hunting and fishing.
All right. Now, what call would you like to find that you don't have, and why?
Well, I'd like to find more Sharpie Shaws and more Sundown Cochrans and Johnny Marsh. I cater to the Reelfoot Lake call makers that hunted here. That's what I like.
How many call makers were actually on Reelfoot Lake, do you think?
I think in the early days there was probably 10, 12 good call makers. Over the years, a lot of people attempt to make duck calls or try. They may make a few calls and give it up, but the real good desirable ones are the famous hunters, call makers, the ones we have discussed earlier.
Okay, and if somebody wants to get a hold of you, how do they get in contact with you?
You can reach me at Hayes Lakefront Campground in Soundburg, Tennessee. My cell phone number is 731-796-0182.